Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're cracking open some truly ancient knowledge. It's packed into this incredibly small space, chapter 15 of the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, it's often called the Yoga of the Supreme Divine Personality.
Right, and what's amazing is people call this chapter the absolute essence of all Vedic wisdom. I mean, the whole philosophical roadmap in just 20 verses.
Exactly. So our mission in this deep dive isn't just, summarizing. We want to map out the ultimate nature of reality itself.
How the world works, what the soul really is.
And the path to liberation. All through some, pretty astonishing metaphors the Gita uses.
Okay, let's jump right in then, because the very first image is, it's a real stunner.
Well,
To set the stage for how reality works, the text gives us this metaphor that's, it's surprising.
Yes.
The material world is literally upside down. So the text compares samsara, that constant cycle of existence, birth, death, rebirth, to this massive Ashvattha tree, the sacred fig.
A banyan tree, essentially.
Right, but it's completely inverted. So I want you, the listener, to really visualize this. A huge tree, but its roots are reaching up.
Up into the sky.
And the branches, they're extending down towards us, towards the earth.
And this inversion, this upside-down nature is the whole point. It's the first big interpretation we need to grab onto.
So why upside down?
Well, the text explains the roots above earth famulam. It calls them represent Brahman.
The ultimate source, supreme consciousness.
Precisely, the unmanifest source. It's above because it's beyond our normal perception, beyond manifestation.
Okay, so wait, if the roots are the source up there, then what we experience down here, the ground, the physical world, that's just the tips of the branches.
That's exactly it. The branches below, Atsakam, they represent the entire manifested universe, the world of human experience, everything that seems solid but is actually transient.
Wow. So the takeaway is that what we think is the foundation, the stable reality,
is actually the most temporary part, the furthest from the true source.
But hang on, if the supreme consciousness is the root, the source, why does the text immediately tell us to cut the tree down? That sounds like destroying the source itself.
That's a great question. And it's a critical nuance here. We're not meant to cut the divine root.
Okay.
We're cutting the phenomenal tree, the illusion, the manifestation of the material world that grows from that root.
The illusion part, okay, makes sense.
And this illusionary world, this tree, it's kept alive, it's sustained by these internal forces that, they keep us tangled up in it.
And those forces are the famous three gunas, right? The modes of material nature. The text says they nourish the branches.
Yes. Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas.
But let's break that down. What are the gunas actually doing here? How do they nourish this upside-down tree?
Think of the gunas as like the qualitative forces that generate all the variety and action in the material world. They're like the water feeding the tree of our experiences.
Okay.
So sattva is goodness, clarity, maybe knowledge. Rajas is passion, activity, desire, and tamas is inertia, darkness, ignorance. These three qualities, they mix and combine to create basically all our thoughts, our feelings, our actions. And these actions, in turn, feed the branches, making us believe this material world is the be-all and end-all, that it's real and satisfying.
I see the structure, the tree analogy.
Yeah.
But how do we actually get stuck in it? Because the text mentions these secondary roots spreading downwards, that sounds like the trap.
That is the trap. It lies in the consequences of getting involved with those branches, those experiences. These secondary roots spreading downwards below the main branches, they represent our actions, karma.
Our actions.
Yes, and the subsequent desires, the vasanas, that spring from those actions. Every time we act out of attachment, clinging to the results driven by the gunas,
We grow another root.
you grow another secondary root, exactly. And that root binds the soul tighter and tighter into this human realm, this cycle.
Okay, so the problem isn't the tree itself or even the source root, but these secondary roots we create through attachment. And the text says the true form, the beginning, the end of this manifested tree. We can't really perceive it while we're stuck in the branches. So what's the way out? What specific action do we need to take?
The method is actually laid out very clearly. We need to use the strong acts of non-attachment. The source calls it Asanga Shastra.
The acts of non-attachment.
Yes, along with dispassion, vairagya. We use these to cut down this deeply rooted tree of material attachment, not the main tree, but our attachments to it.
So you don't try to, climb the tree to the source?
No, you sever the secondary roots that are binding you to the lower branches.
What does that axe look like, practically speaking? I mean, most of us aren't meditating hermits. We're dealing with jobs, families, everyday worries.
That's the beauty of it, I think. Non-attachment isn't about being cold or indifferent. It's not apathy.
Okay.
It's about engaging fully, but without being dependent on the outcome for your sense of self or happiness. The axe is used when you do your job well. That's rajas in action. But you don't let your whole identity hinge on the promotion. It's enjoying the beauty of the world, maybe that's sattva, but understanding it's temporary, it's fleeting. It's really about those daily, small commitments, refusing to let material things or expectations or even praise or blame grow those binding roots deeper.
So it's an internal stance, a way of relating to experiences.
Exactly. It's conscious engagement without the clinging.
And once you manage to sever those attachments, those secondary roots, the goal is then to seek that original source, right? The supreme abode.
Yes, the place from which, the text says, those who reach it never return to this cycle.
And it's described as self-illuminated. Needs no sun, no moon, no fire. A completely self-sustaining reality.
A stark contrast to the dependent, transient nature of the branches.
Okay, so we've got the cosmic map, this inverted tree of Samsara. Now let's zoom in. Let's talk about the individual soul, the Jivatma, walking around under these branches. What's the core definition here?
It's actually a really empowering definition. The soul, the Jivatma, is defined as an eternal fragment of the Supreme Being. The text says, Mama Versho, an eternal fragment of myself.
An eternal fragment.
Yeah. But what's fascinating, and maybe a bit confusing at first, is that even though it's inherently divine, eternal, the moment it enters this material world, this upside-down tree,
It gets conditioned.
it gets conditioned by material nature. It starts this struggle, this entanglement with the mind and the five senses. It's like entering a sensory battlefield.
And this struggle, this entanglement, that leads directly to the idea of transmigration, right? The soul moving between bodies.
Yes.
How does that work? How does the soul carry its, history or baggage with it? It often feels so abstract, but the Gita gives this really clear, almost physical example.
It does. When the soul leaves the physical body at death, it doesn't go empty-handed, so to speak. It carries its subtle body with it.
The subtle body, what's that made of?
It's the mind, the intelligence, and the ego. And crucially, it carries the dormant desires, the vasanas. These are the tendencies, the imprints left by past actions and desires.
So the subtle body is like the blueprint of who we've become. Our habits, likes, dislikes.
Exactly, all packed into the subtle luggage that the soul takes with it.
And the analogy the text uses makes that transfer process so immediate.
It's beautiful, isn't it? The soul carries the subtle body and its desires just as the wind carries aromas from their sources.
Oh.
Think about that. Wind is invisible, aromas are subtle, but the wind absolutely determines where the scent of, say, jasmine or smoke travels. Our deepest desires and tendencies, though unseen, dictate the direction, the kind of next life we're drawn to.
That makes it incredibly vivid, not just some abstract reincarnation theory, but like a scent carried on the breeze. But okay, if this transfer is happening constantly, souls leaving bodies, entering new ones, why don't we all see it? This brings up that distinction the chapter makes between perception and delusion.
Yeah.
The aha moment.
Right. And this really hits on the need for inner awareness, for a refined perception. The text draws a very sharp line here between the ignorant and the wise, the yogi.
What did the ignorant see? Or fail to see?
The ignorant are described as deluded, vimukha. They only perceive the gross physical form. They see the body being born, they see the body aging, they see the body die. That's it. They can't perceive the subtle reality underneath.
They miss the soul's journey.
Completely. Only the yogis, the wise ones, those armed with the eye of wisdom,
Yanachikana.
and who have really disciplined their minds through practice, only they can perceive the soul dwelling within the body and, crucially, leaving it.
So it's a vision that comes through self-control and wisdom, not just physical eyesight.
Exactly. It requires a certain level of inner clarity and detachment to see beyond the surface.
Okay, so we've looked at the world tree and the individual soul within it. Now let's shift focus again, this time, to the Supreme Being's role. Chapter 15 really emphasizes omnipresence, doesn't it? The source isn't just the root way up high.
No, it stresses the immanence too. That the source, the Supreme Being, isn't just transcendental, far away. It's intimately woven into the very fabric of existence, everywhere, sustaining everything.
Both cosmically and, well, very personally.
Yes. Krishna states that his energy manifests cosmically in ways we rely on every moment.
Like what specifically?
Like light itself. He says the radiance in the sun that illuminates the world, the light of the moon, the energy and fire, that's his energy.
Wow, the fundamental energy source.
And more than that, he penetrates the earth itself to nourish all the plants, the vegetation. He sustains the entire universe through this pervasive energy. Think about it. The energy running a star is, in essence, the same energy letting a tiny sprout push through the soil.
That's vast. But then it gets even more intimate, right? The role as the inner sustainer within us. This part is almost shockingly physical.
It really is. It brings the divine right into our bodies. The source says he functions as the digestive fire, Vaishvanara, within all living beings.
The fire of digestion.
Yes, the very energy that helps us digest and assimilate food. It even specifies the 4 kinds of food things we chew, drink, lick, or suck. He's literally the unseen force driving our metabolism, turning matter into the energy we need to live, think, and act.
So from powering suns to digesting lunch, that's comprehensive immanence.
It covers the spectrum.
But maybe the most profound revelation, especially for someone feeling lost under that big, confusing, upside-down tree, is the role described as the inner guide.
Yes. This is perhaps the most comforting and central point for the seeker. The ultimate connection is revealed when Krishna says, I am seated in the hearts of all. Sarvasya chahahidi sanivyuto.
Right in the heart.
Right in the core of our being. And from him, from that presence in the heart, come memory, knowledge, and also forgetfulness.
Memory, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Why forgetfulness?
Well, you could interpret that in a few ways. Maybe it's the ability to move on from past pain, or perhaps it relates to the veiling power of Maya, the illusion that makes us forget our true nature sometimes. But the point is, he's the source of consciousness itself.
And for those seeking wisdom,
he's the source of that too. He is the original compiler and the ultimate knower of the Vedas, the Vedantaka and Vedavit. The very wisdom tradition we're exploring points back to him as its origin and meaning.
Okay, that's a powerful foundation. Which brings us to the final climactic section of chapter 15. This is where it really nails down the ultimate structure of reality, defining these 3 fundamental categories.
Right, this is the peak of the chapter. It gives us this framework of the 3 Purushas, or persons. Understanding these distinctions is presented as the key to ultimate knowledge.
So let's define them clearly for the listener. Starting at the base level, the most obvious reality we experience.
That's the Kshara Purusha, the perishable person. This term covers everything that changes, decays, dies. All physical bodies, all forms, all entities within the material world. It's the realm of constantly changing matter, bound by time.
So the entire upside-down tree, essentially.
The phenomenal aspect of it, yes. The branches, the leaves, everything we perceive as the changing world. That's Kshara.
Okay. The next level up, the changeless essence.
That is the Akshara Purusha, the imperishable person. This refers to the changeless essence, the eternal soul. It's the Jivatma we talked about earlier, but specifically in its liberated state, not bound by karma or the gunas.
So the individual spark of the divine, the eternal fragment.
Yes, the constant amidst all the change. The soul that has, theoretically, used the axe and is free from the secondary roots existing in its pure spiritual nature.
Got it. Perishable matter, Ksha. Imperishable soul, Aksha. And then the ultimate reality.
Then there is the Purushottama, the supreme person. Krishna declares himself to be this 3rd ultimate reality. He is the highest being who is transcendental to both the Kshara, the perishable world, and the Akshara, the imperishable individual soul.
And the text is very direct about this supremacy, isn't it? It says something like, I surpass the perishable and am superior even to the imperishable.
Exactly. Ajosmi loke vedacha pratitha Purushottama. Therefore, I'm celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as that supreme person, Purushottama. That's the critical distinction.
Why is that distinction so critical? That he's beyond even the eternal soul?
Because he is the source and the controller of both. He governs the changing material energy, Kshara, and he is the source of the innumerable eternal souls, Akshara. Being beyond both makes him the ultimate supreme reality.
Okay, that clarifies the hierarchy. So what's the final takeaway for the seeker? Why is knowing this Purushottama concept so vital?
The chapter concludes with this incredible promise. It says, the seeker who, undiluted, asamaha, truly knows him, Krishna, as Purushottama. Well, that person knows everything. Sasarvavid Pajatima. He knows all and worships me with his whole being.
Knows everything. That's a huge claim.
It is. It implies that understanding this ultimate reality provides the context for all other knowledge. And this supreme confidential knowledge, the chapter concludes, leads the wise seeker to unwavering devotion, bhakti, and ultimately to achieving the highest perfection.
Wow. Okay, this has been a really profound deep dive into just 20 verses. We've mapped out that incredible image of the Upside-Down Ashvattha Tree representing Samsara.
Learned the soul is an eternal fragment, yet gets carried from life to life like a scent on the wind based on its desires, its vasanas.
And finally, distinguish between the three core realities: Kshara, perishable matter; Akshara, imperishable soul; and the ultimate source and controller of both, Purushottama.
Yeah, chapter 15 really does this masterful job of uniting those vast, sometimes abstract metaphysical truths you find in the Upanishads, like the cosmic tree, the eternal soul, with a very clear personal devotional theology.
Right, it makes the supreme being both totally transcendent, beyond everything,
And yet also immanent, accessible, the non-dual reality sustaining everything, seated in our own hearts. It's quite a synthesis.
It really is. And the knowledge revealed here is called supreme and confidential. So considering that powerful allegory of the upside-down tree and the absolute necessity of that acts of non-attachment for cutting ourselves free, here's a final thought for you, our listener, to carry forward. The text says, those secondary roots of attachment bind us through our actions and desires. Think about your own life right now. What's one practical, maybe unnecessary expectation or a fixation, maybe just a small piece of emotional baggage you carry around daily? Could you identify one thing?
It's just one small root.
Yeah. And could you commit, starting today, to consciously trying to cut it down? To begin using that acts of non-attachment, even in that one small area, what would that look like for you?